Hi everyone, I am Helen Brown, and then I have my colleagues with me today, Tristan and Steve. We're here to talk to you about the differences between statisticians in the industry and statistical programmers in the industry. So I am a statistician, and my experience as a statistician is that statisticians were usually considered a secondary role in the whole pharmaceutical industry and the development of drugs, but people are now realising that statisticians can really get involved from the very, very beginning and actually have a great influence on a clinical trial to really improve the whole process. So getting involved from the very beginning of developing a drug can really help. It can help scientists improve their experiments, so you get better experiments from the very start, making it more efficient. As statisticians, we can help perform sample size calculations and be involved with how a trial is designed. So whether we want to look at two drugs in parallel, or whether we want to cross drugs over. There are lots of different methods, and the statistician can really help make the whole clinical trial process smoother and more efficient by putting our expertise into the trial design. We also plan what analyses are going to be conducted, making sure that we're using the right data to make sure we can get a correct answer that we want, that actually makes sense in the disease area we're studying. We review and work on analysis tables and summaries, so actually getting the data out of the trials. And then we also help review these outputs and explain to non-statisticians what the results mean, because often other people, when they look at a table full of numbers, they won't know what that means, so we have to interpret it for them. It's been mentioned before that the industry is heavily regulated, so we often have a lot of involvement with the regulatory authorities, kind of justifying that the data we have collected through our trials is sound quality data, because if it's not, then you can't trust the results that we've got. So there's a lot of varied roles from the very beginning of the process all the way through to the end to get the drugs to market. And I'll now pass over to the guys to talk about programming.
Okay, so how does the role of a programmer differ from a statistician? You just heard Helen talking about how a statistician is highly involved in the setup and planning phase of the clinical trial. As the trial progresses into the conduct phase, the programming team become much more involved. The prime emphasis is for the programming team to evaluate the safety and efficacy of the data. This is done through production of tables listing the figures. Most frequently, these tables of listings and figures are used for new drug applications to regulatory bodies such as the FDA, data monitoring committees to monitor ongoing patient safety, as well as review of protocol deviations and analysis populations prior to unblinding. On a typical phase 3 study, you could expect to see anywhere between 200 to 1,000 outputs. As you start your career programming, you will be responsible for producing these outputs. As your expertise grows, you move on to the QC and validation of these outputs. Next logical step in your career is to become a lead programmer. One of the main differences between the stats and programming teams is the team size. So, depending on the scope of work and the timelines, you could be working with as many as 30 programmers or a small team as low as 3.
The role of a programmer is just not programming code. We're actually involved in reviewing of documentation and also writing specifications and other documentations. We'll work closely with statisticians to review the statistical analysis plan. We're looking to make sure that we've got everything that we need to write our programs. So we're cross-checking data collected in the database against what's written in the SAP and also what the statisticians want us to produce. We check that we've got definitions of baselines, all the calculations we require, how to solve date issues, partial dates. So we work closely with the statisticians at the start of their design trial. We also, once we've got the statistical analysis plan in place, we move on to writing our our specifications for programming. So we have a team of programmers. They need to know how we're supposed to program. So we follow certain standards, which in the industry, which is CDIS standards, and these help us define the way we program. Once we've completed the analysis datasets specifications, at the end of the trial we're also involved in writing the case report tabulations, which is in a defined XML format, which helps the regulatory review of the analysis. And we might also be involved in writing reviewers' guides, which aid the whole data package provided to the regulatory authorities.
We're always trying to improve the way we work. While some of this is through process change, some of this is through technical advances we can make by producing macros and software applications. These increase the efficiency, the quality, the efficiency and quality of the worldwide groups of work. But as a programmer, you have the opportunity to be involved in the development, design and validation of these tools.
Thank you. And then just a little bit about the qualifications that you need to get into the industry. As a statistician, it's a good degree related to statistics and in particular the MSc in statistics related discipline. That's normally what the employers are looking for. And then in terms of your key skills, it's good communication. As I mentioned, you've got a lot of interaction with all sorts of different people, whether it's the scientists very early on, it's doctors and physicians in terms of when they're conducting a trial, there's project leaders, there's data managers, there's the statistical programmers, there's managers in the companies, and there's the regulatory agencies. So there's all these different people, and some of them don't have the statistical background that we do, so the communication of getting our point across is very key. Also, an eye to detail when you're reviewing data and outputs is also key. And then for programmers?
Yep, we require a degree which is equivalent, relevant to our job role. So a lot of us have maths degrees, computing degrees. Again, like the statistician, we require good project management skills, good logical thinking, especially to progress. You know, you're leading a team of programmers, so you need good leadership skills, man management skills. You know, to lead that team. We also interact not just with statisticians, the data managers. You know, we're involved in lots of meetings. You know, we're the first contact with the data or working with the data, so we need to be able to translate any issues that we find to the rest of the team, so that, you know, these issues can be solved before we lock a database.
And then, just to finish, as we've mentioned, we work very closely together. I mean, in our office, we just sit on like rows next to each other. Lots of interactions and between ourselves, reviewing each other's work to kind of get a slightly different perspective on things, and then also working with the wider team as well. So we both play very important parts in the whole process, slightly different skills, but also a lot of skills that cross over too. So I think both very interesting job roles which you can take on and see different aspects of. Thank you.